Welcome back, South Philly Sauce, an Audacy original, brought to you by 94 WIP. Al Morganti, Ashlyn, Sullivan here with you. The Flyers winning 2 games in a row over the weekend, Saturday and Monday, getting ready for a busy stretch. 1 road game, then back home for 5 home games. Exciting stuff for the Flyers. They're playing really well. I understand the expectations is the Flyers start a lot of seasons on hot streaks and then taper off. So I get we're really early on into the year, but some things to definitely be excited about. One of them, Owen Tippett, who's on a goal streak, a point streak. He has a ton of momentum right now. Travis Konecny told us that he can do no wrong. He can pass the puck wherever he wants because right now it's going in, and now, Al, you just hope this lasts a long time.
Yeah, he's on what I guess you call the heater, right? And
yep.
He's really just feeling it. And what I really like, Ashlyn, it's not all off the rush stuff. I mean, obviously he backs people off with his speed. But, inside the zone, he's denying that he's hitting, more physical, whatever, but he's just playing well. But he is playing more physically because it's within that offensive zone. And I think after last year, to me, the next step is a 30-goal scorer, a regular 30-goal scorer. And that's what you've seen with his skill set. I mean, he's sort of a weird player that he can set up his own shot, so to speak. I guess in basketball, they call it you setting, get your own shot, whatever. But he can do that because of his wheels, but he doesn't always have to do that. He's a more effective player in the zone, back and forth or whatever. So I think what you want to see is that this start kind of sends him off to a regular 30-goal season. I just expect that from him. I think he took a bit of a step back last year in terms of just raw numbers, but just see why. Isn't it weird when you play well that people are frustrated? It's like, why can't you? We saw this before. Why can't we hit that all the time? But it's not always a straight upward line in terms of development or whatever. But boy, I'll tell you, when you watch him play like this, and for connecting to say what you just said, it's like he's just a game changer. He's a game breaker. So it's a big plus. And moved him up the line, right? So I mean, you see how much they can count on him. And when you got that game breaker on your bench late in the game, tight game, it really makes an enormous difference.
Yeah, and that was big news, the line shift that I have a feeling is going to stick. Owen Tippett moved up to that top line with Couturier and TK, and that dynamic of TK and Tippett, when they're both going at the same time, that line can be unstoppable. Frank, I'm a little surprised it took this long for it to shift to the top line for Tippett because we know what that means. That means Michkov has to go down to the third line. But I even thought Michkov had more production on that third line, way more so than he did with Coots and TK. I think the Flyers want so bad for that TK-Michkov pair to work, and it just doesn't seem to be clicking like they want it to.
Yeah, you don't know what will eventually happen, but it's become a league where I know lines are like people always want to put a name on a line. It goes back in hockey history. But I think duos become as more important, even like a couple of guys that can work together or be put together at a certain time. I'm not saying you got a McDavid and a Draisaitl, but at times you want that combination to go more than the trio or whatever. You want a couple of guys that read off of each other very well there. And Tippett can certainly be that guy with the speed that he has to back off. But Tockett's got, and every coach, when you put people together, some of it is just luck. As we saw with the Cates line, sometimes it's just luck that you put them together and they just seem to get some kind of chemistry. But I think especially with Tippett, because of that skill set, to be able to hit him when he's up ahead or whatever, that's an interesting thing. Like with the way Michkov plays, you start to think, man, he could see people coming up, read people coming up into the zone. And once again, we talk about Tippett, we talk about whomever. And don't we always get back to like Michkov? Like, could this be the combination that sets everything off? So that's where they are right now. But Tippett's just ride it for as long as you can. I mean, it's a pace that isn't sustainable, I don't think, but the style of play is sustainable.
Yeah, and I think the style of play and the way the Flyers are organized right now is, okay, say Tippett tapers off, whatever, in a week. We've seen it before. Okay, well, then TK gets going. Okay, then Coots can get going. Like, as long as the Stars, which their Flyers, I think, arguably have 5, as long as there can be a rotation of one guy's going at one time, then I think you can rack up some points here. But we've seen it before where the TKs, the Coots, the Michkovs, the Tippetts, they all don't produce at the same time. Similar to the Phillies, like when they aren't hitting, the Flyers have a hard time winning anything, frankly.
Yeah, but it was nice to see like TK had a rough start and then finally broke through. But I mean, it was nice to see that then Tippett got that opportunity, and that's what you have to hope, that when somebody's not going, another line comes up. That's like when Seattle came in. Like that's kind of like the team the Flyers can have at times. Like everybody got to go. I mean, you can't have. They don't have the luxury of kind of having a night off where they can get through somebody. Mm-hmm. They really have to be going all the time. And Tippett's a huge plus in that when he's going. And also, when you hear the other guys talk about him, it makes everybody play better. It's like it makes everybody more relaxed just watching a guy like that play and thinking, okay, we got a shot here. I love when they say he was going tonight, like that. Like remember Brink was going tonight, or Kate was going tonight. Steve Coates used to say up on his skates, which I never quite understood, but it's like
technically Owen should be up on your skates.
Yeah, you want that guy. You want that guy that's quote up on his skates, and Tippett right now is that guy.
Yes, he is. Travis Konecny as well, finally getting on the score sheet, where I don't even think he really changed much of his game. It finally paid off for him. But I think as a whole, the biggest plus so far this season has been the story of Dan Vladar and this goaltending situation, where Rick Tocchet goes with Dan Vladar in back-to-back games, shifting up this whole one game rotation that was going to work because we're like, okay, that's no drama. Now all of a sudden Vladar gets 2 games. And I love Tocchet's honesty. We asked him at Morning Skate why he decided to not go with Ersson and break up that one-on-one. He's like, well, Vladar is playing really well, so we're going to start him. It's like, yeah, you know what? It's that easy.
Yeah, but at the beginning, they wanted to go the 1-on-1, see who's going to kind of emerge. I thought it might go a little longer, swapping back and forth. But if they can get up points, I mean, why not? You can't always be bringing somebody along. And it's kind of, when you just look at the stats, it's like, wow, this guy's like near the top of the league. So you have to sort of reward that. And he responded well with it. They might really have something here. We'll see. It's always dangerous to kind of look ahead with goaltending. But I'll tell you, it looked really solid. He really looks good in goal. He really looks strong, looks big in goal. Mishandled a puck on a couple of – actually, mishandled a puck and ended up a winning goal for them on a risky play. But I really like the fact, Ashlyn, that when he talked about it afterwards, the overtime goal, it's like he was reading – I was really impressed. He was reading the whole situation. Tired players on the other side, fresh players for the Flyers. I'm not going to freeze the puck. We're going to let it go. That's next level kind of stuff. Instead of, we always want to say, just stop the puck. Don't just stop the puck. Well, he sees a little more than that. And quietly, I mean, I guess you would say it's politically correct, everything he's saying, like the team.
All team first.
Yeah. But quietly, he was pretty honest. Like, I came here because it was a great opportunity for me with what's going on here, without slighting Ersson or the whole goaltending situation. Just saying, listen, we're both goaltenders trying to reach our peak level, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Ultimately, as a goaltender, you can only help the team, right?
Right.
So, I mean, and the team plays well in front of both of them and respects both of them as players. So, I don't want to burst a bubble or anything, but I mean, man, it's pretty nice having this kind of goaltending for the Flyers at the early part of the season.
Yeah, we made the point in our pregame show where I think if you're on the outside looking in, you see 2 goaltenders fighting for one job. And we all know the saying, if you don't have 2, or what's the saying? Now I can't remember it. If you don't have one, then you don't have one, basically. And I think when you look at the situation, that's no longer really the case. And would you obviously love a staple goaltender that's the highlight of your team for 10 years down the road? Of course. But if you have 2, then you have none. Thank you so much, James, our producer. Of course, you would love to have that. That's not realistic. That's not what Sam Ersson is going to be. I think we would have known that by now if that was Sam Ersson. So this, to me, is the best situation that you can have with the 2 guys on your team.
Yeah. And Flyers fans, we're not looking at 10 years anymore. Flyers fans aren't looking at 10 years or 10 months. They're looking at
now
goaltending 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But now I think we stretched it to 10 games. Let's see what we have. Let's not everybody's afraid to kind of get ahead of themselves here. Like, oh, is this the guy? Is this going to change it?
Proceed cautiously.
Yeah, just enjoy what you have here, because it hasn't been often that they've had this as quota. Well, this is a strength with a couple of guys here like this.
Yes, and I'm curious how this continues to go this season, because they're always on such the same page. Management, Danny Briere, and the coaching staff. I think Flyers fans should love how Rick Tocchet very quietly and very politely is doing things to win the game in front of them, and not as worried about what this looks like 2 weeks from now. What he's doing with Michkov, and being very public that frankly he's not playing well enough to deserve top line minutes. Going with Vladar, shaking up the Sam Ersson. He's our guy. Well, actually, Vladar's playing better, so I'm going to play him. Yeah. I think it's so refreshing. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not done with the spotlight on him, on Tocchet. He's kind of done with like, okay, this is team thing. It's doesn't come across as benching Michkov as harsh. It just comes across as, well, I'm trying to win the game here, and I got the guys that are going. So more than point out the errors, he's pointing out the pluses.
The plus, yeah.
These three guys are going here, and Mich has to learn to not cheat on certain situations, and that's even though there's been a language thing, Michkov doesn't seem like he. I don't know. He doesn't want. Nobody wants to be stapled to the bench or whatever. But he's given every indication that he understands when he makes a mistake, that's what's going to happen. And I think part of that is he's had tough coaches from back home in Russia to certainly Torts. So I think I like when a player doesn't kind of go all crazy because they bench me, I'm a star player, whatever. But in the first place, he doesn't have that status yet. Right. But I think and the fact that he wants more video support on what he's doing wrong, which, by the way, Zegras has asked for the same thing. And I think Zegras has played fine, getting a lot of assists, looking to kind of crack the goal barrier there. But I like the fact that they're kind of searching for support. And I think a lot of players want that video support, and their coaching staff's more than willing to give it to them. But the important thing is to knock on the door or make the text or the phone call or whatever to ask for that. And that's what you're seeing with Michkov and to an extent even Zegras here.
Yeah, very approachable. The iPads are back. That was a big topic. The iPads are back on the bench. Video support, we love it. But overall, very easy to get excited about this Flyers team right now. Tough week ahead. Ottawa on the road, coming back for a really long homestand. This is your chance, Al, especially with this homestand. There's a little bit of buzz. You can really solidify the buzz if you succeed on this homestand.
Yeah, a lot of home games. This season's compressed because of the Olympics, but you really, for all the good feelings you have after what was a really rough schedule to start this season, they're catching Ottawa at a good time without Brady Tkachuk. So that's a good place to go. All Canada will be just interested in the baseball team, so it's a good thing they're going to Canada now and kind of catch them there and then the nation's capital there. But this is they don't have any much margins for error to stay in a playoff race. Yes, some teams aren't starting their season very well in the East, but you have to take advantage here because this could end up, a start like this, if they can manage to pull this through going into November, keep you in that playoff race at the end of the season. Yeah, that's what you want. Stay in the conversation, and the Flyers are very much in the conversation right now. And that's South Philly Sauce, an Audacy original brought to you by 94 WIP. We'll see you later on this week.